Well, thank you
Okay.
everyone joining tonight on February 22nd. We are so excited. We've got a great four guests tonight. We have Jason and Lisa Putnam. Jason is CFO, he's president, one of the owners, and his wife has many different roles at the company. And one I have to look up here because it's VP of Elite Services and Global Recognition. I mean, Lisa, you do a lot behind the scenes. I see you welcoming everyone. It's a great position to have. And then, of course, we have the formulators. We've been waiting to hear how this amazing triGLP product came to be. And we have a lot of really thoughtful questions for you. But just wanted to maybe introduce you, Jason, and then you can introduce the formulators and we can get started.
You bet. Well, thank you so much, Joy, for setting this up, and we're glad to be here. We love to talk about this new product to as many people as possible, and I'm so excited that we have Sean and his wife Tylene on because they really are the masterminds behind this whole thing. And I'm not going to take a ton of time. I'm going to turn it to them and let them tell us about the product. We'll do a question and Q&A on it, and then some testimonials at the end. And let's just have a great call, guys. Sean, I'll go ahead and have you guys come on and.
All right. Make sure I'm unmuted.
We can hear you.
Good. Well, we've got we're in the backcountry of San Diego. We I don't know what you'd call our place, a petting zoo, retreat property, a ranch, but I'm always muting because of all these different animals. They come to the doors, they're barking, they're chirping, they're doing all kinds of crazy things. But thanks for having us. And yes, we're super excited about what has been going on with the product. This has been a long time in the making. We kind of call ourselves product creators, right? And we've been creating products, formulated, whatever you want to call it, for
long time.
20 some years now, and really in the healthy lifestyle space. And so originally we really focused, we still do a lot, but we focused on gut health. We believe everything starts in the gut. And from there, we were basically making products for doctors, health practitioners, a lot of professional athletes, sports teams, whatever, anyone really who wanted to get their health more into their own hands rather than relying on what they were being told, right? Whether it was pharmaceuticals, synthetic ingredient type products, etc. So you can really understand what is going on with this triGLP product, why it's unique, why it's different. This has been in the works for many, many years. There's two sides to this, right? There's the ingredient side, which in this case, we're talking about a specific salmon and a specific patented process on what is done with that fresh salmon out of the fjords in Norway. Okay. And that's been going on. That whole process there has been about 15 years in the making. This wasn't something that just happened because of some marketing opportunity that we see other companies jumping on and taking advantage of, and that's okay. And then that's in the Norway side, we've got the patents, we have those processes. And then on our side, for about the last, 12, 14 years, we have a couple of patents on extraction. And our patents are based on extracting a food, a plant, a mushroom, a root, a flower, leaving things whole the way Mother Nature intended, right? And so, but let's start in Norway. Let's start with what is this that we're extracting? And so what they're doing is they're doing something which we fell in love with enzymes. We're big enzyme people, right? And so they're actually using specific enzymes in their process to liberate the salmon, and they do wonderful things with that. And so in this case, what we're utilizing is, first of all, you're talking about sushi grade salmon. You're talking within 40 minutes of coming out of this perfect climate temperatured water, feeding everything in the fjords. They are processed. So it happens right now. It's as fresh can be. There's no smell, right? You would think that fish can smell pretty rancid because it does get pretty funky pretty fast. Not in this case. And you're talking about an 18-month-old salmon coming to adulthood, if you will, whereas most salmons that you hear all these different things about around the world, wild caught even specifically, is they take up to about 5 years to mature. And by that time, they're riddled with a lot of parasites and other things. So we get to avoid all that. We know exactly where that salmon's been from the time it was a little egg, right, in the fjords, to all the way to it's going to come in and have it self-process. So with that being said, we're talking a super clean, patented process on the salmon side. And then on our side, what we've been doing for all these years is extracting something. In this case, it's salmon, right? Using no chemicals, using no alcohol. And I'm talking about when you put something into a bottle, right? A tincture bottle, a dropper bottle, whatever you want to call it. Everyone on the planet pretty much does the same thing. And so even if they're not specifically using chemicals, they're using some other type of process. They're isolating something, right? We don't isolate anything. We take everything whole, just the way it was in nature. We don't add alcohol, and we don't add what I'll call a carrier oil into the bottle. Okay. So when you see that triGLP bottle, it is salmon in a very clean water that is in there. That's what's in the bottle. It's not something else. The reason why it absorbs so high is just that, right? Because our bodies are made up of mostly what? Water and fluids, not oil. Okay. And oil's pretty problematic putting into the human body. The absorption is extremely low, no matter what they're saying. It can be problematic when you're forcing oil into the cells. Okay. That doesn't mean that a product like that, even like in the CBD world, there was a lot of that, right? Everyone remember that everyone was marketing CBD, and those oils didn't absorb very well. And that's why you hear so many people say, it didn't do anything for me. And other people say, well, it did help me, right? And that's just because those were oils. When we were working in that space, the absorption was so high. We started with doctors originally because that product wasn't legal in the United States. We worked out of the country. We worked with cancer facilities in other countries where we could utilize what we would call fluid, right? And so whatever we extract using our processes, it's whole. And the profile of what we extract, the end result looks almost identical. And that's unheard of because other companies, they don't have those patents, and they choose to take a single molecule, amplify that a little more like what pharma does, right? And then the end result is it's in the bottle, and you have to take a lot because it's an oil. And so in our case, we are a true micro dose, micro drop. We're 50 milligrams per drop of what we're extracting here. So when something is whole, less is needed, right? Because you have all the pieces to the puzzle, like a whole food as an example, right? And so you hear these kind of things where, all right, is it a synthetic vitamin? Is it a whole food vitamin, right? In this case, is it a synthetic peptide, these GLPs, these injections, or is it what we're doing? And it's not just about because we're using food, and it's not just about because we're using salmon. And there are other people trying to do what we do. It happens to us every time we create something with our extraction process, whether it's lion's mane mushrooms, CBD, it doesn't matter, because they know when we get onto something and we're truly helping people, they kind of jump on the marketing bandwagon. They're marketers, that's all. And that's okay. But that's not really who Tylene and I are. We truly are health advocates. And that's what we've done for so long. We're educating people how to help themselves using products that truly get results for what they're trying to accomplish. So it is unique. It is different. You don't need a lot. That's why our cost per use, cost per dose, right, is very affordable. And certainly in this GLP space is ginormous, as everyone knows. It's one of the biggest things we've ever seen since doing what we do for the last 25 years or so. It's all over the world in all these different countries. And so we like to say, drops, not shots. It's kind of a simple little fun little thing because it's true. First of all, who wants to get a shot? And our product can only help, right? And the biggest difference is, besides it being a drop, is that you're losing fat. That's true, But the synthetic, the GLPs, the injections, you're losing muscle. In fact, between 25 and 39% muscle loss. And that's not good and that's not healthy. So with us, you're not losing muscle. You're retaining, maintaining lean muscle mass. So you're helping your gut. You're not hurting your gut, right? And Tylene can talk a little bit about kind of turning the switch on in the body to make this all work. And, as we get into the food noise and quieting the food noise, but I'll let you take a turn.
The main thing is it's triggering and supporting your incretin hormones, which are your gut hormones. That is what the GLP is, GIP and GLP-2. So GLP-1, GLP-2, and GIP, and it's igniting those. So it's harmless, which is the biggest thing, because everything else out there is synthetically made and it's forcing a reaction on the body. Whereas we're giving the body what it needs and allowing it to heal itself and regulate itself. And it quiets the food noise by the GLP-1 and GIP working together and then making you feel full after you eat. It just does so many things, as well as healing the gut, which is going to be the GLP-2 component. So you're going to have better absorption. So somebody may go, well, I feel this, this, and this, and I thought this product was just for fat loss, but it's because it's getting the body to work better. So they may have other things happening to them that make them feel great. I have a lot of people go, well, I don't need to lose fat, but I started taking this product for the maintenance component of it. One is also for iron. So it helps with energy because it's helping the ferritin stores, which is your iron stores. And once you have iron, you're going to have more oxygen throughout the body. And that's a really important thing. So if you're wondering where the energy component comes from, that's where you're getting the energy. One is the nutrient absorption, healing the gut lining, the intestinal tract. And then two would be the fact that you're able to utilize your iron more correctly. And that's all of it's a game changer.
Well, it's really interesting because, there are people trying to copy what we've done. That's going to happen. Comes with the territory. That's okay. Success kind of breeds jealousy in a sense. And
being copied is the highest form of compliment, though, too.
But I want everyone to understand it's not. You can't just say, oh, we're using a salmon because they're using a salmon. You got millions and millions of dollars over the last 15 years figuring this out, down to the tiniest little piece of the puzzle.
So the copycats right now that I've seen out there are isolating one thing. And so you guys know what you have. During the original process from the actual salmon, there are enzymes used to liberate the peptides. So all of the amino acids, the good proteins, everything, it's liberating that. So you're getting over 500 different peptides that then support and trigger the incretin system to work. So then those hormones, the GLP-1, GLP-2, GIP are released, but also, like I said, the ferritin stores get better, the healing gets better. So it does other things because of what it is. And it's a more complete molecule, so to speak. It's a kind of like in the cannabis world, they used to talk about the entourage effect. That's what it's like. It brought all of its friends with it. So it supports the body in a complete manner. And fat loss is really almost a side effect of the body working better.
Well, it's in the skin. I mean, what it does for
skin, nails, all of it.
It's fantastic. I mean, it's
because you're getting more
collagen.
Nutrients, the collagen component of it.
It's all in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is a little bit different for everyone, meaning people are going to feel different things, but it's typically pretty darn good is what they're feeling, which is great. People who are a little more, have more fat to lose, they tend to lose it a little quicker. And I'm basing this off the clinicals. I'm basing this off the studies, right? And so if someone, you can lose fat with this product the first week, there's no question. But with clinical studies, you're looking at probably a couple weeks less if someone has a lot of fat to lose, right? Than maybe someone who doesn't have as much fat to lose. And so you're talking about 6 to 8 weeks or 8 to 10 weeks. And the beauty of this is the longer you use it, the better, right? It's the complete opposite of these synthetic versions of these injections. The longer you use it, the worse you get. And that's why the lawsuits have started, because it's harmful to the body. And we don't want to ever harm the body. We just want to give to the body and let the body decide what it wants to use in that particular moment. And so whether you're using 5 drops in the morning, 5 drops in the afternoon, some people are using 10 drops all at once in the afternoon. Some people just say, I just want a maintenance supply and I'm going to do 5 drops a day. That's okay too. And so some people are using it with their synthetic injection to try to retain some of their lean muscle that they're
Or
destroying.
if they're coming off of one of those, this would be, I would almost push your friends and family to do it because it'd be safer as they're getting off to help still regulate that system as well as heal some of the damage that was done by those injections. Because a lot of those are hard on the pancreas, they're hard on the intestinal tract. There's a lot of different issues with them in general, but a lot of people have a ton of weight to lose. And so they're desperate. So I understand why they're going to get an injection. And you probably have friends and family members that have done that. So you really want to encourage them to take this with it. And then as they get off, they'll increase their dosage of hours as they're getting off. But even if they just did a maintenance dose with whatever synthetic that they're using, that would be very helpful to them.